what's going on, traders? It's Johnny here with Trader X. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. And today I wanted to give you guys another quick recap on how my day trading did go. And so as you guys can see, I was a small green day today. I was up $14.44. And that consisted of trading the NASDAQ ETFs SQQQ and TQQQ. And so these are all my fill orders here, right? The timestamps here on the left. The price points that I bought in and out of everything on the right here. And then the ETF right here in the middle. And so to get right into it, what I pretty much wanted to go over today was my thought process behind my trades and how I was actually able to stay in the green on given this choppy market that we experienced today. And so what we're currently looking at is a NASDAQ ETF, right? And as we can see, when the volume increases right around 6:30, that's when the market opens, right? And what we saw was all of pre-market, the NASDAQ was actually indicating signs of an uptrend, right? It was making these higher highs and higher lows. And so as the market opened and this thing ended up pushing and then picking back down to the middle VWAP, I viewed it to be attractive to potentially get into TQs for a play, maybe from middle to top VWAP. I would potentially ride it. And so ultimately what happened was as this thing pushed to middle VWAP, I bought in. And as it peaked up, I added more to my position. But as you guys can see, it actually ended up getting rejected. And so I had to cut losses on my trade here. And so that put me red on the day. You know, I was probably down about 20-30 bucks. And then as this thing reversed up, I actually viewed, given the fact that it struggled so much right around the middle VWAP, right, and actually made this lower high, I viewed there to be a potential setup for an SQs play here. And so that's exactly what I did. You know, as this thing picked up and peaked out, I waited for it to actually show signs of a downtrend because it doesn't have to go according to plan, right? This thing could, for all I know, could have picked up to top VWAP. But I viewed value in this thing descending because of the fact that it was struggling to, you know, form these higher highs here. It was actually forming these lower highs. And so as this thing fell and peaked back up, I got into the inverse ETF. And as it continued to sell off, I added to my position. And then I covered my trade, you know, somewhere probably around here. And so I actually was able to make everything back that I lost in the morning on TQs. And then I was actually up about 20-30 bucks. And so that was a nice trade here. That was probably the last trade I took with, you know, a decent dollar amount. And by decent, I mean like 5K, right? Every other position I was taking was closer to 1 to 2K. And so right around after this huge push, the market kind of got a little inconsistent, right? It was hard for me to identify which way it was actually heading. And so that ended up causing me to overtrade the rest of the day and eventually give back some profit. So that's why, you know, I'm not up 20 or 30 bucks. I'm only at $14. It's mostly because I was giving profits away pretty much from this point on here. And so that is unfortunate, but it does teach us a lesson to not trade when the market isn't in like the most consistent direction. And so if we take a step back, where do I think the Nasdaq could be headed? Well, it's been very bearish, right? Like I said. And yesterday we spoke about this. I said that this thing could potentially pull back before it continues to rally, but it's actually seems like it's trying to pick up right about now, right? After bouncing on the bottom VWAP again. And so it's not super surprising. So we've seen it do this a few times here, right? Where it would bounce on the bottom VWAP and approach the top VWAP. And so right around these upper levels, it's a little more overextended where it's at based on these previous patterns. But they are just previous patterns that they don't have to always follow, right? So this thing could actually break out and, you know, approach these more of resistance levels and so ultimately continue to sell off, or it can continue to, you know, uptrend. So and the reason why I'm mentioning all these different possibilities is I want you guys to always go into a trade thinking about every possible scenario that can happen. Don't just focus on, okay, how much money will I make on this trade? Also focus about how much money can I lose on this trade if things don't go my way, and also just where am I going to cut this trade if it's not going according to plan, right? Because you can see a previous pattern and, you know, get into a trade and try to expect it to go to happen exactly what happened, right? So like given this example, this thing was bouncing off the bottom VWAP. So if this thing pulled back to the bottom VWAP, you could, you know, expect it to end up hitting top VWAP again, but it doesn't mean it has to. This thing could have, for all we know, continued to sell off given how bearish it's been, right? So what I pretty much want to talk about with you guys is just the fact that every trade you go into, make sure you know where you're gonna get out and cut losses, and where you're gonna take your profits, right? So if I got in at the bottom here and I let this thing ride all the way up here and I don't sell out because I'm just hopeful and think this thing's gonna continue to rally, right? Then am I really setting myself up for success? Not really, right? This thing's obviously been rejected and is trading within a channel. And so if I buy down here and I'm just hoping this thing will push till $1 million, it's not being very realistic, right? So I want you guys to be very realistic and just think of both sides of a trade, right? But that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over today in terms of my trading. I hope all of you were able to end green today. But other than that, yeah, if you are new to the channel, we really appreciate a like and subscribe because we are new and growing and every subscription counts. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over. I will be trading tomorrow and I will post a recap tomorrow. So I will see you guys then. Take care and have a good rest of your day.